Howdy guys, g'day. This is my project at the moment. You can see that footing down there, which is quite substantial and awesome. I'm going to be doing that right the way along this wall, because as you can see the fence, my neighbour's fence, I'm having to dig out a heap of this soil. As you can see how much is built up. It's about half a metre of soil and it's pushing the fence over. So when I get rid of that soil, I then have to retain down in here. And then once that's retained with a nice fat footing, then I've got some timber, some other sheets of steel, and I've got a sick pupper. Oh, look at him in the background there. He's all locked in his little pen. So that's right, hopefully he'll be good soon. You can see I've built a wall there, stud frame. There's another stud frame wall here. I didn't build this stud frame wall, but I put the windows, insulation and everything else on it. So still a lot of work, but that's kind of the project at the moment. Alrighty guys, so that's me for the day. I've dug out nearly all of the soil, not all of it. So this footing here, you can actually see the bottom of it, just down there. I might bring that ground level up a bit more, even though I've got the bottom rail of the fence over there, but I think I might grade that off because that's actually quite a solid footing. That's very thick under there. This other one, which you can see in that join there, was an additional piece that was added on. I thought it was only 100mm thick, but it actually comes right under. It's actually already quite a good footing. Unfortunately, there's about 150mm from the bottom of that footing to the ground, to the new ground level. So I'll probably try and trim this up back to the same depth as that footing there, right the way along, maybe even a little bit more, and that way I can pour additional concrete down and underneath, which is fantastic. I found an old drain rod, which is this piece of springy metal, which I'd buried to try and sort of, help keep the soil in place and not wash everything underneath the fence. And you can also see I've got a couple of big rocks there, and right up in that back corner, that's a heap of coffee rock that I've taken out. But because the levels do change, I may do steps, and I'll use the coffee rock that I've taken out of the ground to actually make the steps with. Another thing that I found was this post, the supporting post. That's the concrete for that post, and it's actually shy of the ground by about 100mm there. So I've left a bit of the soil around that just to support it for now. I will undermine that, and then not fully, but just a bit, and then put additional concrete underneath that as well, because that's kind of the height that the cement's going to come down here, the new concrete. Also, additionally supported is one of these bad boys. Oh yeah, an acro prop. So that's just supporting that trestle up the top there, down onto the ground level, which is pretty good. So normally you would secure that so it doesn't slide out. I'm not too fussed because I will be cementing this in the morning, so it's going to be probably about less than 12 hours, I would say, just there by itself. And then you can see down here there is a step, so you can see the bottom of the fence here, and then I have to obviously remove a bit more soil, but then it jumps up, and then the new fence is up there, and you can actually see it on the top of the fence line. There is a difference, so this soil jumps up, and that's where I may use some of that coffee rock to create a step, because I do want to access. This gate will be gone, and I do want to be able to access through here and out the back, and then just step down, and at least we can reuse this area a bit. And you can see I've dug down here. I've dug down quite a fair bit below what I want the ground level to end up being. This ground level is not 100%. It'll probably be a little bit lower, however that's going to be significantly lower, which is cool. And that's also the the main support as well, the structural support, and I haven't even touched the concrete on that one, so that one goes quite a lot deeper, which is fantastic. So yeah, she's been a big day of digging, and what do you do when you've had a big day of digging? You go and get yourself a beverage, and then you play a game of Dig Dug. Alright, catch up. So it's the next day. I've finished digging, which is good. I've also set this up, as you can see, I've got timbers going back with rocks supporting them, star pickets going in to help support the bottoms, and I've screwed into the other timbers so that everything is supported. I'm having a bit of fun with that with concrete. I've got an old desktop that we made out of pallets, and I mean, it's not dead straight, but this area of the house no one sees it. But I want to see if this wood grain comes through, so I'll be lubricating that and then filling it with concrete. So yeah, she's all set up, ready to rock. The next thing is going to be mixing up some cement, putting it in there. I'm at the stage of mixing cement. There's little Rogie, she's asleep underneath the little bush there in the shade. So what I've got here is I've got road base, and I've got sand, so that's my aggregate, but this has a little bit of other finer powder in it. I find it's pretty good for what we do, and cement, and and here's the cement mixer. I add water, I don't know if you can see that, but just so that it curls off the top nicely and it's not too sticky. And I'll show you a trick with the bags of cement in a second. And here's Nikki doing some gardening. Yeah, so what I do is I do 5 shovel loads of that, 5 shovel loads of the sand, and then half a baggie of grey, just GP cement or general purpose cement. You could probably do more, but we've got a really old cement mixer, and if you load it up too much, it doesn't like to spin. So we just got to take it easy. But that's kind of the ratios that we work with. And I'll show you a trick with a bag of cement, how you get half a bag of cement. So I'll get Nikki to take that. And then, alright, here's the trick. Stab it with the shovel. Lift it up like that. Boom, there's half a bag. So like you can see with that one, you just kind of run your finger in between. It rips the bag in half. Half a bag of cement. Easy, mix, squeezy. So yeah, that's it. The job's coming along quite well. The formwork's holding up. We're about halfway down there, and Nikki's just putting another barrow in, which is bringing us up pretty close to where we need to be. So we added some more rocks at the back of this one so that it doesn't blow out, because it was actually starting to move a bit. But yeah. So what Nikki does is she empties the wheelbarrow, and then she'll go through with a stick and just give it a good poke to, it's a word that we made up, to stonk it down. I don't think stonk is an actual word, but we've used it for years. And then also go along with a, oh, here's the stick. Grab that stick, baby. And then we go along with the rubber hammer over there, and we just give the timber a bit of a tap on the outside just to get rid of any trapped air bubbles. And hopefully it's a smooth-ish finish when we're done, and we get lots of that wood grain effect in there. So yeah, it's coming along good. What do you reckon, Nick?
Yeah.
Many hours later.
Well, that's it. It's moving. That's the good stuff. That's it. Very nice. Hopefully it's left that timber grain behind. Like that. There we go. Oh wow. That's pretty good. Pretty stoked. Happy with that, Nick?
Yeah, you can even see where it's filled in like the old nail holes.
That's brilliant, eh?
Yeah. That's good.
I'm super stoked with that.
I honestly, I didn't expect it to work at all. So that's like 100% more detail than I thought it would have
Yeah.
once you clean it up. But yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't going for perfection. There's a few air bubbles and things, but
Yeah.
I think let's get the actual wood grain in there.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's good. Yeah.
So if we ever make a bar or something inside the workshop and we want to do it in concrete, we know that we can get that effect.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah, it's way more than I thought. I thought it was
That's right.
possibly
Yeah, waste of time.
a bust. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that we had the board anyway for free, so it would have been
Yeah.
it wasn't a waste.
I dig it, man.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. This is the original corner piece, which is still intact and really good. And this is our new bit. So this bit down here was super tricky because this edge here actually came out a fair way, probably about 50 mil or 2 inches in the old scale. So I had to cut and grind and work that out down there. And then because this bit of concrete actually went tapered back underneath the house, underneath the workshop, sorry, I made up using the same timber, so that we got that same finish all the way through. I just formed it up a bit lower. That's why we've got this bit of a step here. But I formed it up lower and then kind of fed the concrete in through there, sort of giving it a bit of vibration and a bit of how you doing to get it going, and then just sealed, just kind of filled that and just used my hand with a glove on it to tidy all that up. So that bit was a little bit tricky, but that came up good. And then we had this piece which supports this post, the white post. So I've actually gone deeper on this one. This is probably 500 by 500. So there's an additional half a cube in there. We had a little air pocket there, so it doesn't go in very deep, which is good. But as you can see, like, that's the sort of stuff I was trying to avoid. I'm not too worried about that. That's good. And you can see opposed to like the first one I did, all the timbers were going that way. This one I flipped it so then they're going that way, and I think the wood grain effect is actually done really well, considering that's my first time and I was just messing around. So yeah, put in this section along here. This was the first bit that I did, and as you can see by this join, which I wasn't too, I really wanted that to be flush, but it didn't work out that way. It's just around the back of my workshop where no one really comes. But as you can see, that's gone along. Finished. I had a fair bit of material left over, so I've laid this step and that one, and this one on top. You can actually see it's cracked, but it was a hot day. It was high 30s, I think. Hello, Mr. Peter. What are you doing, buddy? Whoa. That's it. Site security. Yeah. So overall, it looks pretty good. These plants are going to get moved. So obviously there's this rock step and then the concrete step, and we're going to put some artificial lawn down in here, and yeah, it should come up quite nice through this doorway. But that's our concreting done for out the back. This has yet to be sorted out, but that's okay. But yeah, overall, pretty happy with that concreting. Not too bad at all.